bro fist to you all. It is Friday. It's a little late, but we're here, and hopefully going forwards, we will be exactly on time. That is Friday, 4 p.m. GMT, London time, wherever you are in the world. This is where Drama Time will be going forward. Emma is driving again, and things should be stabilizing a little bit here at PG Towers. That should be the case. We shall see. We shall see. I promise nothing, but I believe that should be the case. Welcome to Drama Time, where we have stories sent in from around the world and have done for the last 10 years of the weird and wonderful people you encounter in your online travels. And certainly with Fellowship Open Beta happening right now, which I've been having a ton of fun with, I'm already hearing stories of craziness and things happening there. Hopefully nothing too bad just during a beta. We shall see. We shall see. But it doesn't matter what game it is. You encounter people in the online world. Feel free to share your tales with us, my friends. That could be a journey most precious to us. To warn others, you can send them to drama@preachgaming.com. Right. You guys have waited long enough. We have a story in front of us, which I don't know if it's a meme or whether this is actually going to be horrible. I don't know. So I'm pre-warning you, this might be bad. It's called The Child Disciple. I believe this might be from Japan. I don't know. It says no names needed. This might be from Japan because the opening text is written in a language I don't recognize. But you can tell me if it's Japan. Because in parentheses here it says Konnichiwa, Duzo Yorishuku Onaigai. Onigai? I don't know. Did I nail it? Yes, Japan. Okay. Oh, it actually says it here. Itashi Mashita. Itashi Mashita? Itashi Mashita. He called you a clown. Well, that makes sense, I suppose. Mike, a warm hello from Japan. There we go. I don't know if it's our first story from Japan, but here we go. A warm hello to you from Japan. I hope you and your audience are all doing very well. Most of us. Yeah, most of us doing all right. I want to thank you, especially the good Lady Bex. And congratulations on her new monitor. Yeah. Cheers for the excellent content. And here's a very neutral and non-buttery hello to the chat. I actually do not want the chat to feel manipulated. Dust's gavel. Mike, today I want to take you on a journey into the slightly odd and an absolutely outdated story about an obscure yet amazing game. Oh, this is another game this has got to be another one of these online games you guys played when you were kids. It's called Disciples 2 Dark Prophecy, later renamed to Disciples 2 Galleon's Return. Never heard of it. Disciples 2. As always, we'll have a quick look here. Rise of Galleon. No idea. Yeah, this is a new one on me. Let's get the images up so we can see what we're looking at here. I do not think this is an MMO from the look of things. Let me just show our little live audience here. This combat screen looks a bit like a turn-based action game. Apparently, that's what it looks like to me, but there is some sort of like open world map type system here. Yeah, it looks a bit like original. It looks like Baldur's Gate 2, but then a turn-based action element to it is what I would say off at a glance. Yeah, an old school turn-based RPG. Yeah. Okay. In order to tell this story, though, you must, of course, understand my situation. While Japan is my home, I am not originally from the land of the rising sun. Instead, I come from a different place. I originate from a land with dry heat, The Southwest Tech Valley. Tech Valley of the Southwest. And some of the world's best iced tea. Oh, I do know that. Crap. It's America. Something iced tea. Something iced tea. Shit, I do know that one. I was raised in a very rural, very poor Arizona. Yeah, Arizona iced tea. Yeah. Arizona. Okay, so you were from... How did you end up in Japan then? Mike, we were so poor. Like, poorer than you. That for Christmas most years... And I'm not joking, I received playing cards 3 years in a row. Damn. That sucks. That really fucking sucks. 3 years in a row. Sometimes as I got older, I was given a mint candy with my Christmas present. A pack of playing cards and a mint candy. Jesus. That's fucking grim. Our first family computer was purchased from the thrift store in town, but it could only work for an hour or two because our trailer park had an electricity limit. What the fuck am I... This is America, right? Within the last, 30 years? What the fuck is going on? This is the land of the free, the home of the brave, right? This is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. We're on an electricity limit at the trailer park. In terms of games to play within our couple of hours, I had access to quite a few because my brother and oldest ex-stepbrother are thieves. I mean, this is a grim start, dudes. This is a grim start. To be fair, most of the games I played as a teenager were absolutely copied games. Originals were hard to come by. I've said it before, but I had no idea that Command and Conquer had FMV cutscenes in it because every version I had was like ripped, and they always removed the cutscenes to fit on the CDs. I was amazed when I played Command & Conquer and found out it had cutscenes. I was like, oh, no shit. That's crazy. My brothers wouldn't tell me the games were stolen. Instead, they said they were gifts from Secret Santa. Oh, that's nice. I actually think that's kind of cute, is the older brothers didn't want you to know that they were stealing, so they did that. I think that's kind of cute. They knew they were poor, and you wanted video games. I mean, it sucks they're stealing them, but, like, there is a cuteness to it. There is some level of empathy in there. Mike, this level of poor sadly meant that while I was aware that World of Warcraft existed, it wasn't an option until I got work stretching barbed wire. Excuse me? Oh, on a farm. You don't mean in prison. Okay. My first ever job that I got was as a day laborer. I would spend time stretching barbed wire, chucking hay, or working in the ice house. What in the fuck is an ice house? Help me. What is an ice house? Because all I can think of is Frozen and those idiots digging cubes of ice out of the fucking thing. Brother, is this real? Who do we know who lives in Arizona? Isn't Zayu from Arizona? We might need to check in with Zar. I think Zar's from Arizona. That's the only person I know who's a native Arizona man. A house made... The ice house. Of course, I was severely underage compared to the law, but no one gave a shit where I lived. So you were... Okay. I remember very distinctly the time one of my stepbrothers brought home a floppy disk, which could only be described to your audio listeners as the most high-tech, cutting-edge, pixelated version of Robin Hood. Where this floppy disk came from, I do not know. Why it had someone's name on it, I didn't ask. All I knew that it was a baller game. An absolute blaster. The way the small figure darted across the screen with a click of the mouse and then shot individual shot after shot of arrows was incredible. Yeah, gaming. Watching this nuclear level gameplay and occasionally playing myself when I thought my stepbrother wouldn't know set a new and deep yearning for video games that would later lead to exploring and playing as much as I could get my hands on. But not yet, as you can probably imagine. The next... do we need to know more? The next thing you need to know for context is a little about my old man. Like many men raised in his generation. All right, so we're in an era of floppy disks. So we're in the 90s. Right? Floppy disks are still balling early 90s. So your old man is probably, let's say mediocre 40. So he's from the 50s, post-war. Yeah. So he's like probably a post-war World War II dad. Okay. He had what we would describe as tendencies and habits that made it hard for us to bond. Oh, God, did he walk 80 miles in the snow? Probably not even a lie, given the context. Well, it's Arizona, so 80 miles in the fucking sand or some shit. He took after most men his age and resolved all issues with physical violence as a means of discipline. He was always pretty emotionally cut off and non-expressive. Men shouldn't show emotion. They should not cry. Dude, I cry all the time. You put a dog in a movie, I am fucked. That's it. I'm the end of it. Or if my wife buys me a Wii for Father's Day. A Wii U, actually. He did drink a lot. You know the type. Very stereotypical. But one of the most interesting things that he picked up was a deep-set, unshakable belief that you should never, ever allow kids to win games if it's not legit. Ooh. Physical games, I disagree. Yeah. But a game of mental skill, get better, right? Especially if it's got RNG in it. Like a game of Monopnaps. If you're going to throw down some Monopoly, you better win that shit legit. Because, fuck you. That game is bullshit. That game is bullshit. If there's RNG in the game, like I don't trounce my kids at like basketball or something like that when we play. But, yeah. He believed and would often say, no mercy, no quarter. And absolutely stomp kids into the ground with games, regardless of what it is. I remember endlessly getting smashed while playing Speed. Speed? I assume that's an old video game. His maniacal laughter as nails were broken in Egyptian rat screw. Is that a game? Okay, I've got to Google Egyptian rat screw. Egyptian rat screw. Egyptian rat screw is a card game where players compete to collect all the cards by flipping into a center pile and slapping it for combinations. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Not understanding the rules, as my older sister and I lost in blackjack and gin rummy. I mean, blackjack is RNG, dude. You're not counting cards. Or is your dad counting cards? Because that's really funny. And getting handed a small smeared piece of paper from an old box with instructions on how to play poker before he started asking us to bet with real money. 25 cents a game. And losing it to my dad. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. That is really fucked up. That is super fucked up. No, that's wrong. That's wrong, man. That's fucking wrong. No, that's fucked. If you're not aware, these are all card games. I've heard of poker. This makes sense why you got a new deck of cards every Christmas, though, because this is all you guys did was just play cards all year. So your dad kept having to buy more playing cards because you'd use them up. As we grew up and eventually landed on a second-hand computer, this philosophy continued into the digital world, and more specifically in Disciples 2. Disciples 2 is a top-down tactical team-building game. It has 4 separate factions with unique units and abilities, towns and cities you can capture and build, thieves you can use to poison and inflict harm on your enemies, spells to cast, additional factions and ways of playing in future expansions were added, and resources to build momentum. The game has a wide range of quests with rich writing and dialogue. Are you working for them? As well as sagas for each faction with overlapping narratives and genuinely challenging experiences. As a quick note that will become relevant later in our tale, the 4 factions of the game are the Empire, praise be, the Mountain Clans, the Undead, and the Legions of the Damned. The Empire are the humans, obviously, and the strongest faction in the game, not even close. Balance was not an issue for these people. It had a healer capable of healing all status ailments and the entire team, elite frontline units, strong magic units. It had everything. Oh, does Dad play the Empire and you're not allowed to? That's really funny. That's really funny if Dad just plays Empire and you're not allowed to for RP reasons. The Mountain Clans are dwarfs. They move slow, but they're sturdy. They live long enough to do some damage. They move so slow, but they are the strongest and tend to beat the shit out of you before they die. The Undead are the second strongest faction. They have Paralyze and things like that. And the Legion of the Damned are debatedly the weakest in the game, but are very edgy and cool looking, with gargoyles, fiends, devils, succubi, yum num, and other demonic style units. Okay. Chaos. I was shocked at the amount of depth this game had. And for its era, especially. And since it had been out for a few years and someone had apparently found a Secret Santa copy to bring home, it quickly became my dad's new obsession. He spent hours obsessing over the game. Doing math on damage, armor, status effects, finding new builds, trying techniques, and min-maxing the fuck out of the game. I liked video games, as I said. I had a yearning for the video games, so I tried to bond with Dad. I acted super interested in what he was playing in the world within the game. I remember distinctly approaching him one day. Daddy? Huh? Can I play? Or can we play this together? Can we do 2-player? Okay. Talk to you later then. I know you're thinking he was probably distracted by the game, but even without the game, this was most of our conversations. This is just pissing me off now. Oh no, my son wants to talk to me. What a bastard. What a bastard. And while his acknowledgement wasn't a solid yes, I got excited because it wasn't a no. A grunt was quite in the affirmative. And I hoped that if I kept at it, that maybe one day he would agree. Months later, Jesus Christ, I almost every day asked him time and time again, Daddy, it looks cool. The thing on the side of the screen, or maybe the thing on the other side of the screen. Some days, I managed to get the question out, and sometimes I didn't, because he was ignoring me. But as the months went on, he slowly started to play other games in combination. But Disciples 2 always stuck around. Could I play, please? For reference, it was probably I was probably 14 or 15. 14 or 15? I thought you were like 6. What do you mean, bro? 14 or 15? Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought he was like 6 years old and he'd be like shit at it. Like, as I'm talking right now, there's 32 messages in my family WhatsApp group. I don't know why it's such an effort to get to bus stops, but Emma makes it a mission. I want it on record when I pick the kids up. 4 messages max. I was 14 or 15 at the time. And it wasn't that I had any talking impediment. It was just that talking to my old man was risky. If you asked him at the wrong time, his wrath was strong, and it was difficult to know what kind of mood he was in. I feel like you're walking across like a bridge in Indiana Jones with the rope like all over the place. Oh my God. That's what I feel like's going on here. It's like the rickety bridge. It could go at any moment. After the months and months, though, my friends, of stumbling over what to say, I finally figured out. Daddy, I would really like to play the game. I'm going with this voice even though he's 15 years old. My dad looked down at me. He then looked back at the screen. He clicked save. Then he resaved. Smart, double save. Started a new game. And then motioned for me to take the seat. It was happening. I was so shocked, I remember shaking that this was actually happening as I sat down. My heart beating so fast I could feel it pulsing against my ribs. It was going to happen. I was going to play with my dad. In my excitement, I let out a squeal. I knew I'd screwed up. A squeal in front of my old man. I looked up. My dad was walking out of the room. Fucking hell. The belt. The belt just went straight in. Jesus Christ. He wanted nothing to do with the game while I was trying to learn it. And in retrospect, likely had some sort of aversion to spending time with children. But regardless, fuck it. I do have access to play game, which is a bonus. It then occurred to me very quickly I didn't know how to play the game. I had watched a lot and had spent the next 30 minutes randomly clicking on everything and anything I could find before being smashed by the AI. I later realized that it had put me on the hardest map in the game and turned the AI to hardest. Why? Why? Like, why? I just don't understand. Like, that's just vindictive. He's hoping the kid doesn't ever want to play again. He's 15, man. I don't know what's the leaving home age in the US, like legally. It's like 16 or 18 maybe. After I lost the game, he shooed me off the chair and loaded his own game up. Oh. He wanted you done quickly so he could get back to gaming. I mean, it's so sad, it's funny. Like, it's so tragic. It's like, what? Just why? Like, that is genuine, like, almost hatred at that point. Baller move. You know what? Not cringe. But with that one short and objectively dogshit experience, the spark had come to life. At least you're finding some joy, I guess. Yeah, I don't know how we get to Japan. I think maybe we're tempted by the Muscle Cafe. I don't know. The art style was fantastic. The voices were so good. The pretty healers, the existence of dragons. I adored this game. It was so much better than Gin Rummy. I mean, yeah. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's better than Gin Rummy. Yeah, it is. Now he had cracked every day. I was anxiously waiting to play for those 30 minutes. He didn't let me do it every day. On the days that I could, I started to fucking learn the game. I fell in love with it. Every part of it. I would draw figures from the game in my notebooks, write imagined stories about the... Where do you live, dude? Go out. You live in a field. There's fucking nothing where you are, right? You had notebooks. You're fucking writing stories. You know what I mean? I'm not dogging the game. We've not played it. Arizona's too hot to go outside. And you guys slag off Manchester. You've got some nerve. You've got some nerve talking shit about where I live. You've got some fucking nerve, man. You've got some fucking nerve. That's all I'm saying. You really have. Where you come up with the cojones to mock where I live. For months and months, this game inspired me. Sparked my imagination like nothing else. But, of course, something was missing. And in a part of my mind, a memory stirred. I originally asked if we could play the game together, but so far was only allowed to play on single player. Every time I got on, my old man left the room until I was finished. And so the question remained. Multiplayer. Is it possible? Every game that I had played so far had been against an enemy AI. And while I had finally won a mission on easy using the Empire, the OP team, it hadn't even been indicated by my old man that we could play together. But I wanted to find out. Can me and my dad play a video game together? The next day. Daddy, can we? You're already playing the game. On my computer. Don't push your luck. I tried to swallow the frog in my throat, my cheeks blushing and uncertainty in my voice. Yeah, it's good. Thank you. It wasn't that. It was, a look of annoyance and a rising tide of uncertainty about what would happen next filled the air. I was actually wondering if we could just play together once. I spat it out. The words mumbled and pushed together in a blurb of trying to say what needed to be said. His response was confused, quizzical, and almost seemingly slightly annoyed. But without a word, he went back to the main menu and started a hot seat game. Now, for you young Zoomers in your audience, a hot seat game goes something like this. In the old days of video games, they often made a system for single-player turn-based games where you could alternate who was playing at the computer, like Duck Duck Goose. The first player would sit, play their full turn, stand up, swapsies with the other player. When player 2 finished, one would sit back down, and so on and so forth. And after a very long period of time, a game would inevitably happen. But the game had been set. It's time to go. We're ready to begin. My old man decided he was going to play Empire. The strongest fact. Here we go. As was his default pick on the game. Then he asked, what faction do I want to play? Now, I'll be honest with you all. In the 30-minute interims, occasionally, over the months that I had played, I had never played another faction. I didn't know what they did. I didn't know how they worked. But I am not going to waste this opportunity with my father. So, as an edgy kid, and I want to describe to you right now my current appearance at the time of this moment. I am wearing cargo pants with the biggest of pockets. I am wearing what can only be described as an oversized t-shirt, which is an understatement, with the print across the front, skateboarding is not a crime. I have painted black fingernails and a haircut I can only describe as tragic. And so, I pointed to the edgiest of all the factions. The Legions of the Damned. Checks out. I mean, I never wore that particular shirt, but this was me. I was never into skateboarding, but this was me. I had some... I don't understand. Are you or are you not wearing Vans skater shoes? I really hope so. I was very emo kid. I had blue metallic hair. I wore a lot of chains. I had necklaces with surf symbols on them. I will say you this. At the time, it worked. All right? At the time, it worked just fine. It worked just fine. It was appropriate attire. It did. It worked fine. It worked fine. It really did. It was all right. My father nodded at my choice. He selected the faction for me, selected the difficulty of the AI, chose a map I had never seen before, and the game began. Ladies and gentlemen, what followed was simultaneously glorious and tragic. For 3 days, for 2 hours at a time, I watched with the biggest, brightest eyes my old man using units and tactics I had never seen before or thought to do myself. He raised an assassin in his back row that struck out to poison his enemies, his front line slowly becoming a full line of hardened, tough warriors on horseback with grizzled faces and golden armor, while his mage leader rained magical chaos down on the enemies, and his healer keeping that team topped off. He hired a different leader I had never even used before, capable of flying with majestic wings to capture resources across the map, and then he used those resources to upgrade his towns. I'd never thought of doing that. He leveled at breakneck pace. Items, abilities, research spells, which I didn't know you could do. He destroyed the AI enemies, and while he played, I watched over his shoulder, taking close note of how fucking awesome my dad was at this game. However, when I took my turn, anything that I may have observed my father doing just disappeared from my mind. I clicked a gargoyle because it looked cool and it was close to where my mouse was. I added a caster because why not? And took my team out of the city and died immediately. Every turn after was a slow, painful, crushingly brutal failure to just try and get out of the starter area, while my dad conquered the entire map. The AI we were fighting against killed my second team, my third team, and my fourth team, while my father destroyed capital cities, reached endgame levels with his elite team. It was the shittest performance ever by me, and it was amazing. I loved it. Eventually, he kept the game going until there was nothing left on the map. I had managed on my 7th or 8th go to get a team to level 3 and taken a single town. My old man had killed every AI on the map, conquered every city, claimed every resource. His team was level capped across the board, but with a smirk and a look over his shoulder, he turned to me and asked me a question. Well, what do you think of your old man now? Oh! Oh! he was God. I said we should fight with our teams to the end. Whoever wins takes everything. Still high on the adrenaline of watching my dad conquer this game and the reality I was actually playing a game with my father. I was so happy. He pointed me to a fully leveled city of his and I slowly walked over until I stood before the gates. I was ready. We were going to have a friendly fight. For the full extent of everything I had learned over the last couple of months, I was going to show it off. I knew I was dramatically outleveled. But maybe, if he didn't send everything else, a great feat in a battle truly set for the ages, the great gamers of the world would hear about a father and son dueling it out at the very end of a war. I was ready. I set my units in place and clicked end turn. I got out of the chair, my dad sat down, clicked save before looking at me, opening the spellbook. I didn't know there was a spellbook. And then he proceeded to cast spell after spell after spell after spell, AoEing my army stood in front of his gate. I panicked. I didn't even know what these spells did. What's going on? What is this? Why hadn't he done this earlier in the game? As I wondered and stared with horror and amusement, the most horrifying thing of all happened. The team that I had finally got together and worked so hard to build turned to smoke and ash. He hadn't even initiated combat in the usual style of the game, and he had beaten my team. I hadn't even taken a turn, actually. I had just gotten to the place we were supposed to fight. How could this have happened? I asked him if it even counted as a fight. How is this in the game? Is this a cheat code or something? That's not right. What is this? I thought we were going to fight army versus army. With a smirk and a slight hint of a smug chuckle, he reloaded the game to where it had been before. He's in his city, and my strongest and only team is outside the gates. He then looked at me. This guy is the biggest piece of crap ever. Oh my God. He then looked at me, ended his turn, and said, "Come and get me." This is it. This is my opportunity. He's not going to cheat like he did before. The ability to get the fair fight and redeem what was happening. I sat down. I clicked on my team. I went face first into the city. Meet them head on. I didn't realize that you could armor up the cities. The cities were already strong and he'd upgraded them with a bonus 30 level. I was obliterated to such an overwhelming degree that the spells actually seemed like mercy. His rogue character one-shot my champion leader. His horses just stomped over my gargoyle before they had a chance to move. And my one caster in the back tried to cast heal before he killed me with his healer. And with a single last click, my caster died. My last character to his assassin. The battle ended with his team on absolutely full health and not a single unit lost. I don't know why I did what I did next. What could have happened? What could have changed? But I got him to reload the game so I could try again. And again. And again. And again. I moved my team into different starting positions. I maneuvered them. I tried to do all sorts. I tried an item that my leader had picked up. I'd never even tried to use it. I tried to suddenly start researching spells. But I couldn't figure out how to use spells. I tried maybe a dozen times. And every time, my old man simply snapped and Thanos'd my team out of existence. I never killed one of his units. And at no point did it occur to me that we should maybe fight outside of his city. Have you tried not fighting in his fortified castle? Maybe outside. We would reload and rerun right into the meat grinder time and time again as my dad laughed at me. Me and my dad have never played a video game together ever again. This night was the one and only time in my life it happened. What the fuck? Oh, that's cold. God damn. Bruv. Yeah, man. He was still happy to beat me at card games or a second-hand board game. But our time of sharing video games was at an end. He decided to start playing other games and was too embarrassed to waste the time again. And I was too embarrassed. Despite the shit show and going separate ways once his legal responsibility to keep his child alive to 18 was complete, his words, not mine. Oh my God. What the... Yeah. I mean, I had a talk at 16, which is you have to pay rent now. £15 a month. In other words, go and get a job, you lazy cunt. But it wasn't that harsh. Yeah, not that harsh. I want to tell you all this, no matter how you're feeling about what you've heard today. This was one of the best experiences I've had with my dad. Yeah, it's easing me into builds and getting me to earn some money. That's 16, my 16th birthday. My dad sat me down and said, "You're becoming a man. You now need to start paying rent. I expect £15 a month. In other words, go and get some work, do something, get out of the house, stop being a lazy cunt. Stop playing video games." Ha! Joke's on you. Turning my job into playing video games. Get wrecked, noob. Easy. Easy work. Outthank the problem. That's the way you do it. That's how you do it. Yeah, click W, Dad. And this moment has stuck with me for many, many long years. It was one of the very few times that we actually spent time together that was even remotely, vaguely describable as positive. And while he was never one for words or showing emotion, his willingness to spend 5 hours over 3 days with his annoying, rebellious child showed a level of care and concern that, for him, was the depth of a full novel. It left such a mark that as an adult, I rebought the game on Steam myself. I spent 400 hours learning every detail so that child me figured out a way to maybe beat him. I want to thank you for listening to my story, an odd and niche moment, the entertainment and high quality content and excellent game choices. Thank you. Mata Kondo Osai Shimashu? Osai Shimashu? I don't know what that is. Mata Kondo Osai Shimashu. Nailed it. It's calling you a clown again. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. You're still a clown. Okay, thank you. That was a horrible, 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 horrible story. But, I mean... yeah, it's a little bit... Beck says, try this lunacy story. It's bizarre. Okay, sure. Let's try this one. The other one's like 8 pages, so we won't have time, unfortunately. Right, Chronicles of Lunacy. Alright. Let's move on. My dad wasn't that bad. My dad was of a similar age, but I found out in my late teens that my dad used to be like that guy. Not a drinker, but like very like stoic, I guess. And my brother was always telling me that he was a kitten compared to what he used to be, and I was lucky because my dad was much nicer with me than he was with them, with my brother and sister. Oh, we've still got a weird announcement. Let's put that out of the way for now. ... Let's just get rid of that for now. There we go. The Golden Child. Apparently he mellowed out in his old age. My dad had me very late in life. Very, very late in life. I think he was 50-ish when he had me. Yeah, I think my dad was 50-ish. Well, no, late 40s. He died at 66, and I was 21 when he died. So, yeah, around there. Yeah, he was pretty... It was... my dad was much older than me. My dad was much older than the norm for having a child. Yeah, much older than the norm, is what I should say. My brother and sister are 20 years older than me. To give you an idea. 20 years older than me, my brother and sister. My dad was older than me. Yes, my dad was older than me. All right. I don't know where this is going. Let's find out. The Chronicles of Lunacy. Oh, we need a guild name. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to our live audience here on Twitch. Sorry, YouTubers. I don't have that chat open during drama time. We need a guild name. I have no context for the guild name at all. The Chaos Seekers, the Takeshis, the Orange Bumchins, the Deadbeat Dads. I like that. For a WoW guild, the Deadbeat Dads, I think, is a perfect one. We'll go with that. Mikey! When I started college, a classmate introduced me to WoW during the TBC. A few weeks after playing with friends, I joined the Deadbeat Dads alongside my IRL classmate. I was a resto shaman and was accepted into the guild because they needed me to press chain heal. Oh, the Burning Crusade. What a good time to be a resto shaman. What a good time. Instant access to any of the most cutting-edge guilds in the world and only needed 3 buttons for great success. Phenomenal. Resto Shaman, TBC era, never forget. I was so overwhelmingly powerful that I secured a spot on the main raid team within a week. Could you totem twist, though, you piece of shit? Or was that enhancement only? I need some TBC Classic players here. Was totem twisting enhancement only? Because you needed Grace of Air. I think it might be enhancement only. I think it was. I think totem twisting was just the enhanced shamans that did that. The guild master of the Deadbeat Dads, Angry Salad, was a dad of 3 boys, all of whom were in the guild. Uh-oh. Angry Salad was a unique GM. In the Burning Crusade, he had 5 geared alts. And every raid night, he would make a proclamation. My main character is whatever the team requires that night. Because of his... Because of his unique and very crucial element to the raid team, he had overriding veto on the loot council for himself. It should also be pointed out that the loot council consisted of 5 people anyway, 2 of which were his sons, which meant he could prioritize the non-essential loot regardless to himself. What a joy. What a wonderful environment. Oh, so fun. So fun. Yeah, so fun. Don't you want to play there? This sounds great. The Deadbeat Dads had the usual 2 tanks, although 3 was not uncommon in the Burning Crusade. Our main tank, Ajna, was a druid and a warrior. Oh, was a druid, and there was a warrior tank. I became friends with a rogue, General Lucifer, who consistently smashed the damage. General Lucifer frequently left our guild to join a better guild, but would return when he had got the loot and had dropped down to the bottom of the DKP table. That's a rogue. You've got to respect it. That's living the RP life. That's a rogue. That's a real rogue. That's what a rogue life is about. You join a more advanced guild that's got shit on farm. You get every item. They tussle your DKP down to the bottom. You'll earn it back next tier. You fuck off. Fuck you and fuck your DKP. And you go back to play with the boys. Our pally healer, Mine Croco, who will play a key role later in the story, is someone to bear in mind. A shitter? Eh. If you can't like figure out that these people are doing this, look, let me put it this way. If you're too stupid to realize that an applicant is wearing gear beyond what his guild has progressed, it's on you, brother. That's on you, dude. That's on you. It's like, oh, you have full tier 6, but you've only killed Rage Winterchill in that guild. Can you explain that? Go fuck yourself, right? A week after joining the Deadbeat Dads, the Shaman class leader, who insisted all healers bring bandages... Excuse me? Insisted all healers bring bandages to use on themselves. And as a guild rule, he said any healer caught using mana potions over healing potions would be disqualified from loot that week. Quit the game. What? I can only imagine this is some egomaniac who has come to the bright conclusion themselves that a healer shouldn't run out of mana. It's not something I haven't heard before, but it is quintessentially stupid. It's just so absurd. It's so completely absurd, right? But like some people come up with these. I have heard this kind of thing before. It's like, well, healers shouldn't really need mana potions if they play well. It's one of those cunt things people say, right? It's like, well, if we don't get hit by anything, we shouldn't die. Like, okay. Then we should just one-shot every boss, right? I don't even know why he died, actually. When he quit the game, I was promptly promoted to class leader. Yeah, mana management. Yeah, mana management's always a thing. Like when things start going wrong, you can run out of mana real quick. 2 weeks later, when our raid leader went on vacation, I filled in because no one else would talk, and was then promoted to raid leader before the vacation expired. What have you joined? Why are you here? For what reason do you exist in this team? Like, you can clearly tell something's fucking wrong, and you're like, dude, this is bad. This is real bad. 2 weeks after that, I replaced a retiring council member who was frustrated with the loot distribution and was now added as one of the 5 people on the loot council. I mean, it makes sense as the raid leader, I suppose. Like, I know you're probably a little concerned about the guild. Yeah, a little bit. Tiny bit. There's an inkling of something. I can smell some gas somewhere. All right. But this guild was full of great people. Of course it is. Of course it is. You know why? Let me tell you why. Let Daddy tell you something. Most people are good people. Shocking. But literally, the vast majority of people are actually pretty okay. But they're very easily controlled by fucking assholes, right? That's the fucking problem you've got right there. Most people just want to get on, log on and play the game and have some fun and get some fucking items. But the ones who really want to be in charge, those people, they're dickheads. They're dickheads. People who want to be in control, they're dickheads. You keep an eye out for those people. And I decided I wasn't going to leave this obviously flawed guild because it was full of great people. And there's the problem. You see? There's the problem. But like any guild, we had some difficult personalities. People who wouldn't follow instructions or just made things more difficult than they needed to be. I want to explain to you a bizarre pattern we had with Magtheridon. Oh, fuck off. I had the worst time with Magtheridon. Can they not click the cube? Tell me they can't click the cube. It's so easy. You just click the cube. You just click it once. You just stand next to it. You click the cube. And that's it. Not early, not late. When I say click the cube, It's the cube. I've just read ahead. For whatever reason, we could only ever beat Magtheridon if the raid leader, who was before me, before I took over, would scream, click, wait for the banish timer, and then shout, stop clicking. I have so much PTSD right now. Do you know I had to do it as a healer because we couldn't find... Is there 5 cubes, 10 DPS, and a 25-man raid that could click the fucking cube? So I had to do it. On my fucking healer. Nonsense. Fucking nonsense. I couldn't find... In a raid of like 15 range DPS or whatever, I couldn't find 10 that could click that fucking cube. They would always get... Oh, my God. I hate it so much. Oh, my brain. If we didn't scream at them the exact times to do it, the boss just wouldn't die. It was like a cursed ritual. It happened again in Black Temple. I'm not reading ahead. When else would this be a problem in Black Temple? What did you need to do in Gurtog? Might be Gurtog swapping the teams. I'm thinking it's Gurtog. People just could not count. Essence of Souls? No, Essence of Souls I don't think would be the problem because you just don't need that many good people. You need the tanks to know how to spell reflect, and you need like 3 interrupters, and you're okay. Yeah, I don't think it's Reliquary. I'm thinking it's Gurtog. Just the groups moving out and in because you needed the 5 players to move back. It's got to be Gurtog, right? With High Warlord Nagentus. What? That's boss 1. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, yeah, no, this is horrible. I can't read this, Bex. This is horrible. I am getting so much PTSD right now. Like, I totally know what it is. Yeah, it's the fucking bubble. Man, I'm getting fucking antsy. I'm getting, like, uncomfortable thinking about what I went through then. In a good guild as well. Like, in a good fucking guild. Like, actually, this is really upsetting me. I hadn't thought about this in ages. I feel like I've got ants crawling on me. Unless I yelled, pop the bubble, they just wouldn't. And the raid would explode. Yeah. Do you know what it was? It wasn't popping the bubble. It was picking up the spine. I just pictured rogues pressing slice and dice, looking at the spine right next to them. And then just looking back at their screen, like looking back at the boss, like... Do you know, like, Come Fly With Me? Remember that fucking David Walliams show? Where that guy who wants to be the airport can't put burgers into the machine. I don't know if you guys know about it, but there was a show called Come Fly With Me where they had this guy who needed to work at McDonald's. And it was like, I want a milkshake. And he had to look for help. And the guy just goes, press milkshake. And press burger. And it just needs telling constantly. Oh, this is going to be horrible. Please don't fucking upset me more. Then came our apparently certain bosses only responded to specific voices. Then came our warrior tank. All the way through tier 6, he believed he was God's gift to WoW. He was always, of course, prioritized for loot more than anyone else. Until we reached Archimonde. Now, thankfully, I don't have PTSD with this because I was the tank. And it's fine. But I do know tanks who can't do this. What can't our tank do? Come on. It was a problem in vanilla. It was a problem in TBC. What can't our tank do on Archimonde? Can't stand stance, correct? No, not standing fire. Can't stand stance. He can't tell that the entire fucking room is shaking like an earthquake. It's impossible to realize that the entire fucking room is shaking like an earthquake, even with a timer saying fear is coming soon. Cunts. Until we got to Archimonde, where he couldn't stand stance and then told us that he thought his key bindings were bugged. We subbed him out for our DPS warrior to tank with a shield and no other armor and killed Archimonde an hour later. But even then, he stuck to his story is that his bars are bugged. He never tanked Archimonde again for the guild. He would swap to DPS using prot talents, and our DPS warrior would tank it for him. That is deeply upsetting. That is deeply upsetting. And Mike, I wish to tell you about Ventrilo, my personal nemesis. What can be wrong with Ventrilo? Anyone who used it back then knows about Keybind Chaos. As raid leader, guildmaster, shaman leader, and with personal binds all stacked, I was having 12 conversations at once. Wait, what are you doing? Are you having different keybinds to speak to specific groups of people? Why? Why are you doing that? That's the only thing I can imagine. He's got keybinds set up to talk to like just the shamans, just the healers, the raid leadership. Just talk to everybody. What are you saying to the shamans or the healers that can't be heard by everybody? Like, what the fuck? He's onto something? No, because this is where you press the wrong keybind and end up saying like, damn, the fucking DPS is so shit in this guild. Oops. Another story. Oh, is this all just TBC stories? Oh, Bex, you are the worst. During Mount Hyjal raid, our guildmaster Angry Salad decided to bring his newly leveled priest because in his belief, we needed to shore up the priest team. Nobody asked. As you can imagine, he performed poorly. When the rogue priest tier piece dropped, Angry Salad decided to use his veto power to claim it for his priest because his poor performance was lack of gear. Despite the objections from me and Zaklu, because some priests have been waiting for this tier for weeks, Angry Salad said, fine, I'll put it to the vote, and his two sons approved the decision, outvoting us 3-2. Get fucked. Get fucked. This infuriated the rogue officer General Lucifer so much he quit the guild on the spot in protest. Good lad. General Lucifer did his usual trick and went to a different guild, got his tier set and rejoined the guild. Gangster. Fucking gangster, dude. Absolute gangster. Yeah, top lad. Fuck off, man. Fuck off. When he did rejoin, though, Angry Salad treated him as a punching bag. Zaklu and I did stand up to Angry Salad, refusing to be his lackeys, which upset Angry Salad as he was guild master and required respect from his officer team. At one point, he demanded in no uncertain terms that we unconditionally support him or he was going to stop being the guild master. When we refused, Angry Salad left the guild and gave guild master to Ajna the tank, who was promoted to the council. Ajna generally sided with me and Zaklu and became close friends with the returning General Lucifer. He offered General Lucifer an officer position again multiple times, but General Lucifer said no because he won't be sticking around much. His DKP is too low. I like this guy. He's not making anything. Always like, nah, I'm not going to be here much longer. I've got a load of loot, so I need to go get some loot from somewhere else, dude. I got warglaves to think about, brother. You know what I mean? In this economy, I can't be sticking around here. Wait, that guy just stayed gone? Did his kids stay? This is interesting. We move on to Ulduar now. An hour into the raid, Ajna logged on and announced that he has decided he was too good for the guild and was moving to greener pastures and left. I mean, at least he's being honest. A feral druid is too good for the guild. Mangle, swipe, 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 swipe. Mangle, swipe, 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 swipe. Mangle, swipe, 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 swipe. I'm too good for this guild. Really. Amazing. Incredible. I hate everybody here. I'm going to pick a shotgun to this whole fucking place. We cancelled the raid and the council held an emergency session. Okay. It was decided that I was now to be guild master. Yay! Talk about failing upwards. While still in Ulduar, Mine Kroko, our pally healer, was voted as the one to receive the legendary weapon Valonir. He was reliable and consistently a top 3 healer behind our druid healer and I. But one problem was Mine Kroko wasn't well liked by certain people. We discovered that a scheme had been set in motion. Another paladin in the guild decided to look to General Lucifer, the loot monster, and devised a plan to sabotage our progress to stop him getting Valonir. They logged into our raid after hours and used alts to trigger the Watchers so we couldn't progress Valonir. Their elaborate plan evaded detection as none of us noticed what was going on, and Blizzard refused to disclose who was responsible when we did realize. Mike, this happened when Ulduar was current. General Lucifer and I still talk, and he confessed to doing this in 2024. Legend. It was me the whole time. I like this guy. Yeah, just fucking drops a bombshell like 15 years later. It was me. I did it. It was me, baby. Oh, what a guy. Mike, this, I hope, reads you all well. And I hope you have a wonderful day. But this was my story of my time with, what were they called? The Deadbeat Dads. It was an interesting period, and I left after Ulduar. But still, the things that happened in that guild were unbelievable. Have a great day all, and thank you for reading my story. Well, thank you for sending it, sir. Thank you very, very much. That was fantastic. Oh, my God. That was great, although it really upset me at the beginning. That really, really upset me.